Alright, so I'm going to talk about the social networking site Tumblr, which is actually more of a blogging platform. So this is what the page looks like once you've logged in. This is my account. Tumblr is basically, you can share pictures, videos, quotes, music, ideas, pretty much anything you want. This is what the dashboard likes. It's pretty much like a news feed on Facebook. And everything that is on my dashboard right now is things that other users have posted that I follow, similar to friends on Facebook. You have followers on Tumblr. Tumblr was founded by David Karp in 2007. He's the CEO and he owns the company. He has about a little more than 100 employees working with him, engineers, developers, things like that, that all work for Tumblr. If we scroll down, if we go into I believe the help center of Tumblr, that's how you get to all the sort of behind the scenes links down here. So we're going to go to the about page, if that loads. And it's pretty user friendly. It's got some stats. It tells you just about the posts and the employees, headquarters, founder. So it's pretty easy to get quick information about it. So we know that David Karp here is the founder. What we don't know just from the Tumblr site are the actual other people that are behind this, like what makes it go. So we're gonna have to go to Wikipedia to find that out. Alright, so this is Tumblr's Wikipedia page. Pretty much just gives you a gist of what it is. Down here, the history tells us about a few people, like Marco Arment. This guy is the lead developer. I guess he left a couple years ago. So it gives you a little bit of the history there. Alright, so we also see over here, Tumblr is privately owned. David Karp is the founder and also the CEO of the company. So it doesn't have a parent company or anything like that. So there's a few ways that we can see how reliable the information is that's on this Wikipedia page. We can go into talk over here. This is going to tell us what people are discussing should be more on the Wikipedia page. I did some reading on this, and it seems like the majority of people on here are Tumblr users themselves that are making suggestions for the Wikipedia page. The other thing we can do is go into view source up here, and here we say page currently semi-protected, can only be edited by established registered users. So that's a good sign, because that means that this isn't one of those pages on Wikipedia that anyone can edit. So we know that people have to go through some sort of qualification in order to edit this page. And then the final thing we can do is go into view history right here. This is going to tell us when the page was last edited. So the 13th of December, that was yesterday actually. The 4th of December. So we're looking at about once a week here, I'd say. This page is being edited. And since we know it's only registered users, we know that it's going to be reliable information. And you can go, if you really want to, you can go into like the individual users for an Equinox. You can read about him, these other users. Alright, so another thing we're going to want to do is do a whois lookup of the site's address. So we're going to, this website right here, Network Solutions, is going to help us out with that. So we type in tumblr.com, and here we go. So their current registrar is Mark Monitor Inc., which is supposedly the global leader in online brand protection. So we know that they've got a brand protection service. If we scroll down, we're going to see a bunch of administrative information, contact information, things like that. Alright, so now back to Tumblr. One of the things that makes Tumblr so aesthetically pleasing, I think, is its lack of advertisements. You're scrolling through your dashboard, there's going to be no ads. On the side here, there's no ads. When you're blogging, there's no ads. But you know, like, they do need a way to make a profit. So what Tumblr does is they have a lot of, in addition to private sponsors, if we were to go into help over here, let's see, go into about, we have their sponsors over here. So that's one way. Another way that Tumblr is going to make a profit is when you're on Tumblr and you want to discover more blogs. You go to find blogs over here, and there's this thing called Spotlight, and people will pay money to have their particular blogs promoted. So this is going to come up first when people go to find new blogs. And then another thing is that people can pay for advertisements on their individual blogs. I don't have a specific example, but if you were to go to like one of these blogs, for example, they might have advertisements on them, just for a more individual thing. So this is going to be a really great thing because it draws, Tumblr is still making a massive profit from their individual sponsors, from their private promoters, but they're also reeling in a huge audience because people don't like to have to look at ads when they're blogging on their own time. So that's a really good marketing technique on their part. Alright, so robot readable elements. We want to see what can search engines pick up with the information that's going on with Tumblr. So if we right click, we're going to go to view source. And I thought this was, oh whoops, I got that out of the frame. There we go. I thought this was kind of funny how the Tumblr's there with the 8s and stuff like that. I think that's just kind of a goofy thing. At first when I looked at this, it's mostly all stylistic things, like HTML codes for the style. So it's not really search-readable material. But if you scroll down, let's see, here we go. These are like individual paragraphs. Over here we have, like, you can see the word Beatles, you can see the words Benedict Cumberbatch, who's an actor, you can see Daniel Radcliffe. So each little paragraph in here is an individual post on the dashboard. So other than the, you know, the pop over menu item, blah, 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 this tag stuff, David Tennant, for example, Doctor Who, things like that are, because tags are very important on Tumblr, that's how people find posts. So that's going to be a major component of what the search engines are digging out. So privacy is sort of a funny thing on Tumblr, as with any blogging website, I'm sure, because in one sense it's very private because you're not required to give any, you're not required to give your name or your phone number or anything like that. Like with Facebook and sites like that, you sort of have to give out that information. With Tumblr, all you need is like a username and a password, and as long as you're password protected, you're good to go. But on the other hand, like let's see, this is my blog, for example, and this is what it looks like. These are the things I've posted, blah 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 blah, and nothing identifying me is on this, only the things I post. So if someone, this is my URL, for example, right here, anyone who has this URL, anyone who has this can see my blog. It doesn't matter if I approve of them, blah 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 blah. Anyone who has this can see my blog. But generally speaking, the only people who are going to get this are people that you've met through Tumblr. You know, unless I publicly post it on Facebook or something like that, but I'm not going to do that. So you know, it's all about how much information you decide to put out. It's not really Tumblr's responsibility. Actually, if we go into help section, go to their privacy policy, let's see. I think it's under about. Here we go. You know, they take your private nature very seriously, blah 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 blah. And this is a pretty lengthy thing. Like, I didn't read all of this. It's very lengthy. But the part that I did get the gist of is basically they're saying, you know, we're not going to put any of your information out there, but if you put your information out there, it's your own fault, you know? The security of your information, blah blah blah. They're not going to put out your stuff. So you know, it's a very personal thing when it comes to privacy on a website like this. So as I mentioned before, well, this is about name conventions, but it's kind of related to privacy in this circumstance. Users on this website, you don't give your name, you don't give any geographic information, financial information, anything like that. The only way that you're identified on this website is your URL right here, and that's this right here. Every time I scroll and it has this text right here, along with the icon, that's the name of the user, just their username or their URL, and that's the only way you identify them. I noticed this post, which I actually thought this actually just came up on my dashboard. I thought it was kind of funny. On Facebook, you know my name, not my story. On Facebook, you put your name out, you put everything out, but you probably don't really know people on Facebook very well the way you know them on Tumblr. On Tumblr, you know my story, not my name. People on Tumblr tend to be more, I mean, it is a blogging website, and a lot of people blog to write about their lives. So even if you don't know someone, it sounds very strange to an outsider, I'm sure. But even if you don't know someone's name, you may feel very comfortable talking to them. Maybe because they share an interest, like a TV show or a band or something like that. That's a whole different discussion about fandoms and whatnot, and I went over that in my last paper. But it's a very different sort of identity than on other social networking websites, and I think it's very interesting, and it's something that I have become aware of over the past few years since I've joined this website, and it's definitely opened up a lot.